am aware of the hardships you Jews have endured since the start of the war. But you have all been chosen for good, honest work. I assure you, your suffering is finally over. Eins, zwei.
What are we gonna do now?
Like this. If people do what the Germans are doing, they will help us.
On the way out tomorrow, we cut through the truck and we don't stop running.
Stop the truck! Hold on!
We need to keep moving. We have to warn our people what this place is, what it really is. We have to get the word out. As long as we're still breathing, there is hope. The Germans are building death camps.
No one can annihilate an entire nation and get away with it.
What do we do? The world must know the truth.
People will not remain silent. The world will tremble.
My name is Heather Hurt with the NRW, and I can hardly hear anything. Where nerds rule the world. There we go. And I'm here with Oliver Jackson-Cohen, who plays Solomon Weiner in the upcoming film, The World Will Tremble, as of this recording. By the time it comes out, the movie will be out on March 14th, and I'm really excited. How are you today, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Good. A little bit heartbroken and shattered from watching that film. I won't deny it, but
Yeah, it's not a light-hearted, like, romantic comedy, is it?
No, it's not. From the trailer, it was as a granddaughter and great granddaughter of a Holocaust survivor. One of the things that really concerned me about the trailer is that it looks a little bit more actiony than it really is,
Yeah.
and so but at the same time, it's nice that it wasn't. It was,
Yeah.
but
Well, I think that's it's interesting, isn't it, when you're trying to market a film, and also Lior, our director, who also wrote the screenplay, he was so adamant that he didn't want to kind of anything to be gratuitous or anything to not be true. So everything in the movie is true, and he didn't want to sensationalize it for sort of for entertainment in any way. So I'm glad that you feel that way, that it's not sort of what I mean, like turned into this like big kind of like Hollywood, you know what I mean? Like I don't even know how to explain it, but yes.
I know you're good. I actually talked to Lior yesterday, and that's one thing I actually brought that up. And he's like, I wanted there to be a little bit of, grandioseness to it because it's a movie, but at the same time, I didn't want it to be, in your face. I didn't want blood everywhere. And it was a really lovely way to show something that's actually tragic, like super duper tragic.
Well, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go right ahead.
No. Well, I mean, I think his like choice as well to never linger on. You rarely see the dead bodies. You rarely see he just sort of stays on whoever's handling the thing, which I think is, you never really see much blood or anything like that. And not because he was sort of frightened of showing it, but I think that then it flips the movie into something different. It becomes a sort of gratuitous thing about, So I think that choice from his end was really trying to be as respectful of the actual story itself.
And it really made it I want to say character driven, even though these were very real people that y'all were playing, but it made it a very character driven film. And I want to talk to you about that. Let's talk about Solomon a little bit. When you first read Solomon on the script, on the page, what were your thoughts?
I was really quite taken aback that I was just so taken aback by the story, and it's something that we're all aware of. We're all sort of taught, but very lightly, you know, in this sort of, it's sort of, I feel like a lot of the time it's brushed over in history. So I was quite ashamed to say that I knew about it. I didn't really ever, you know, shamefully never really ever stopped to think about how exactly it began and how these, and so I was really taken aback that, you know, that this is how the sort of gassing started. I was so blown away by it, and I was sort of so blown away as well that, you know, the courage that it took for these people in this unbelievable situation, the courage that it, you know, must have taken to kind of do what they did, and, you know, ultimately in the, you know, sort of changed the world by getting this thing out, you know, because it just wasn't being reported on. It wasn't, people didn't know, you know, there was no access to, it was whatever was chosen to be put out. So yeah, so I was just kind of amazed at the journey that Solomon went on in the script, and then absolutely heartbroken that all of it was true.
Did you and that's so important. If for those of us who went to Sunday school, for those of us who, you know, went to Hebrew school, and we were taken to the Holocaust museums where we are locally, it was one thing where you didn't want to think that things like this could happen, that Jews were basically responsible, or were put in a place where they were made to look responsible for this, and that's even more heartbreaking. With that being said, what did you do any other research when you were kind of going through this process, or did you just kind of take what Lior said and just kind of roll with it so that so that you could learn as you go?
Well, it's really interesting because I feel like I'm quite meticulous about the sort of the research and the backstory, but with this particular project, they're all in the dark constantly. And so it felt really important that everything that happens in the movie happens as it's happening in the present. And that it felt, I think for all of us, this the most important thing was not necessarily knowing about what happened next, or, you know, or sort of researching the Holocaust as a whole, but actually trying to kind of tap into sort of the honesty of what we were doing in that given kind of moment. It felt that, you know, Lior is this unbelievable I mean, you've spoken to him. He's this unbelievable kind of encyclopedia of this fountain of knowledge, and you know, is something that is incredibly important to him. And so he was integral, I think, for all of us. There was not. He created this space where it was this constant open dialogue. You could ask him any question about anything, and he had the answer, and not in a sort. He actually had the answer. So I tried to work, you know, with him on the facts of who Solomon was, and you know, and his family, and where he was from, and the sort of the story of how he came to be in the camp, and that just sort of felt, because the story is about surviving. It's not necessarily about well, I mean, it is about the characters, but it's about survival. And I think when we're in these situations, and I mean, it's sort of impossible to even imagine, but you should try to imagine what that would have been like. I feel like so much of it it's sort of fight or flight stuff, and so there isn't really an awful lot of space. So that became very, very important, that it was just about surviving each second and each minute, and that not that character wasn't important, of course it is, but it sort of felt like the present moment was the most important thing for all of us to kind of bring to set.
Absolutely. That's a beautiful way to put it. With that in mind, talking about the heaviness of this film, this is something I wasn't able to bring up yesterday, but it's this movie is not a small film. Like, this is not something like emotionally small. This is a heavy hitting emotional role. Sorry, I didn't mean it that way. I meant it more like
No.
small as in like this is not a like an easy emotional take.
No.
No,
Let's not.
I apologize.
No, please don't. I totally agree. I hear what you're saying. I totally agree. I totally agree.
But with that being said, what do y'all do? What did y'all do at the end of the day, each day, to kind of break that? Because this is that's a lot of heaviness to put on your shoulders, not only from an acting and directing perspective, but from a cast perspective. So what did y'all do on set to kind of bring y'all out of those harder times?
Do you know what? I have to say, Lior is one of the loveliest directors I think he's such a wonderful human being, and Arthur, our producer as well, is equally a wonderful, and I think that the cast, we were really lucky. We all of us, including kind of the people, the Germans, and there was this real unbelievable sense of safety that we all felt, and I think whether it was ever sort of conscious or not, that sort of came from Lior. So the first day of filming, we shot. It's a moment in the film where three of us are brought in to do sorting, and we're brought up to the castle to do sorting, and it was the first thing we shot, and there was this real thing, we sort of called action, and we sort of went in, and it was so terrifying. I think I got sort of overcome with this horrible sort of weight, and we cut, and Michael Epp, who plays one of the guards, immediately broke the ice and sort of hugged us all. And there was this real sense that it was okay to go to whatever place you had to go to for the moment, because that you would feel safe afterwards. And that sort of sounds horrible to kind of say that when we're talking about, sort of telling this story, because I know that wasn't what was available to in the real world. But we really did form quite a strong bond, all of us, as the cast and the crew, and we all hung out a lot. I mean, I feel like we laughed a lot, like a lot. And I don't think it was a conscious thing, but we would be in sort of hysterics, like sort of laughing, and it kept this real sense of I don't know, just this real kind of amazing sense of safety and love and support in and amongst this. But then when the cameras, when we would sort of roll, all of that would dissipate, and we would do. But then it sort of made it. It was quite strange, actually. We would really. There's a whole the whole scene where we're sort of doing the bottles and stuff, and it was so terrifying. And Michael was sort of shaking afterwards, and he just came up to me. It sounds so silly, but he sort of crossed his eyes and looked at me, and then said hello, and he just lightened the mood in a way, and it felt like he was so aware that was part of his job on set. So it was a really unbelievably safe and supportive environment to sort of work in.
That is lovely. Oh my goodness. And you don't want to hear that, these bad guys on screen are bad guys in real life. You never want to hear that, but it's always nice to be reminded that these people are actors. They're doing their job.
Yeah. Well, and it was amazing because everyone took, the responsibility of what they had to do. Everyone, took it, understood the weight of that responsibility and were respectful to that. But I don't know, with a film like this, I don't know whether or not it's a good idea to kind of stay in that place all the time. I personally, as an actor, don't think that's conducive to the best work or people feeling safe in their bodies.
Absolutely, 100%. With that, I totally got distracted by it, and I had this great question. I was like, oh my gosh, you brought something up, and I was just like, oh no, I can't remember it now because you just said that so lovely. there is a, with that being said, when it comes to that camaraderie, when it comes to being on set like that, what did you learn about yourself through these other actors, through these people, through Solomon? What did you learn through your time making this movie about yourself?
Oh, good. Well, it was quite a tricky time. This is maybe too much information, but like my mum had been was diagnosed with cancer while we were filming, and it was quite an unstable kind of time, and I think sort of playing Solomon, being away from home, not being able to do anything and being quite powerless to what was happening back at home, and being around a group of people who sort of unquestionably had each other's back. I think it does, raise all these things about friendship and how important that is, and how important it is that we can't really do everything on our own, and that it does take connection with other people. Don't know. Maybe that's not. Yeah. I think. Yeah. I don't really know. Sorry. I don't know if I'm answering your question.
No, that was wonderful, because it actually goes back to the film where you really do need to lean on one another. It's an incredible lesson that you learned, especially in the hardest times, is to lean. All right. My last quick question for you is, when the audience gets to see this movie on March 14th, what is the one thing you would like them to walk out with? What is that one thought that you would like to cross their mind?
Oh God. I don't know. I think it's always important to remember, not that we have to sit in it, but I think it's always important to remember what's come before, and not forget that that's sort of part of, we can't ignore things and pick and choose what we remember. So yeah, I hope that I don't know. I hope that I don't really know, because it's a weird one, because I went to a screening not so long ago, and it was like silent when the movie ended, and I think it's not an easy watch, but someone said about hope that it sort of yeah, I don't really know.
No, that's to me, conversation is wonderful. It's what you go see a good movie for, is to have that conversation. So if you don't know, that's just as good as having any other answer.
You know what? I mean, I think, yeah, you've literally just nailed it. That I hope that it does create a conversation. I think with all the work that we all do, we hope that it kind of helps, Yeah, keep talking.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for your time today, Oliver. I really appreciate it. The World Will Tremble premieres in theaters on March 14th. Thank you so much for your day, for your time. And you have a wonderful day. There we go, language.
You too.
Nerds rule the world!
Pleasure chatting with you. Love to all my nerds who rule the world.
Yeah. Nerds rule the world!
Yes, we do.
Thanks. Nerds rule the world. Thank you.
I love the nerds ruling the world, so more power to you.
Patrick, what up, man? And yes, they do. Nerds rule the world, kid.
Yes, sir.
I'm one
Thank
of
you. Awesome. Kuya P, nerds rule the world. Hello.
Yes, they do.
Oh,
Nerds rule the world.
I gotta.
It's in the title of your show, like Nerds Rule the World. Like, I want more Black weirdos on screen, and I don't feel like we ever get to see that very much.
Thank you so much. Nerds do rule the world.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Nerds Rule.
Love it.
Hello, Sarah. Hello, Julian.
Yes.
Rock on. I love it. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you. I love Nerds Rule the World.
But yeah, there's a heavy nerd component, man.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if you ask me, nerds rule the world. So
Absolutely.
And you're right. Nerds do rule the world.
We're just the best.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Nerds so much.
Yes. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
It's your boy Kuya P. Nerds rule the world. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate you.
They rule the world all right.
Yes. Take care, Tony. Thank you, guys.